Stephanie Fallow doing my summary for Module C. The module talked about the RTI and the process that entails. It talked about two different forms that the RTI, not forms, ways that the RTI can be administered, which I was unaware of. I liked how they broke down both and then weighed the pros of one and the cons of the other, but what they do together. This would have been very beneficial as a baby teacher or in the general education setting when you're really not familiar with this process, especially when you know, because you have those kids that come into your classroom and you're like, oh gosh, we're going to need to help this kiddo out, even before you administer universal screeners. But I really like the way that they took each tier and detailed it out. So the tier 1 process is covering all those students. That's your main instruction. It's quality instruction. You're highly qualified. From that point, after you administer the universal screener, then you go to tier 2, and those are those kids that need a little bit more help. They may not necessarily be special education, but they need something else to help them progress. And then of course, going into tier 3, where you've put in tier 1 and tier 2 interventions, it's not helping the kiddo as much as it needed. And then that small group of kids are the ones that need to be looked at for maybe having a learning disability or whether or not they qualify for special education services. I liked the activity where they were putting statements into what tier it falls in. I think that would be very beneficial for all teachers now, especially gen ed teachers who really don't grasp the process of it until they have a kiddo who's actually going through it. Most of them don't ask a lot of questions unless it's, help me, this kid, I can't get this kid to do what he needs to do in order to listen or focus or progress. But I do enjoy my gen ed teachers at my school to come, and I shouldn't say enjoy, I like the fact that they can come and ask me questions on how to help a kiddo inside their classroom before they even look at what we call the TST process, which is our RTI. So it was a great module. How it affects me on a daily basis is I do individualized instruction every day being in a self-contained classroom. But I really, like I said before, I really enjoy going out and looking at those kiddos and observing them and helping my gen ed teachers look at those interventions to put in place for the tier 2 process. So it was a good module.